Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Aleinu and Shlita. Well, here we are, Sof Shavua, Erev, Shabbos, Kodesh, Parshas Acharei Mos Kedoshim. As we conclude another week of learning, we thank you for joining us, but please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Ganei Yisrael, for Shlem Chol P'tzvei Yisrael, with the safety of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. And we learn each day Aleinu Nishmat Sarah and Daniel Shimon ben Harav Daron v'Shal Yishem Kamdemo. So let's finish our week with this chapter of Pitum Haketores Aleinu l'Shabeach. Achar Shir Shel Yom Nogin Lomer Pitum Haketores. So after we say the psalm of the day or the song of the day, we say the chapter of Pitum Haketores, so Lefan of Omrim En Kelokenu. And again, this is not the normative practice in American Nusach Ashkenaz, but you'll find this in Israel, which is why sometimes when Americans go to Israel, we get confused in davening, and for a lot of other reasons. But we say Pitum Haketores, which is preceded by En Kelokenu. Shnei Tamim Amiros, there are two reasons given. Ha'echad keneged haketores shoy maktir mechol boker erev ve'erev beis hamikdash. So Pitum Haketores corresponds to the ketores offering, that special type of offering that we're learning all about in Gemara Menachos now, which they used to bring every evening and every morning, or I should say every morning and every evening in the Beis HaMikdash. Hasheni, the second reason, Kidei shekol Yudi yizkeh lilmod b'chol yom midivrei chachamim, and also gives you some divrei chazal that we should learn. And the note here is a long note about what's found in the Siddur of Rav Amram Gon and what is not found there, whether we should say Parshas Pitum Haketores, but again, it's an interesting, very, very long note here, note number 5. B'Zohar, the Zohar says, Shibchu ma'odes malas amiras Pitum Haketores, that people who say Pitum Haketores is a tremendous amount of praise given, sha'al yalda nitzolam mikol minei peronios, that because of this, if people say, they will be saved from all types of punishments or evil decrees. V'yesh omrim shetzarich lizar ma'od shlo lahashmid es af simaman mehaketores, v'lechen lo ya'omrim es haketores b'mehachol, shem mitoch shem maharim malachtam yidalgol echad es samamanim. So some say that you can't skip even one iota or one of the aspects that are written in the ketores. So since when you bring the ketores, you're not allowed to miss, you can't miss any one of the spices. So therefore, people wouldn't say it during the week because maybe you'll leave out one of the parts of it. Interesting. This gets a little bit above my pay grade when you talk about Zohar stuff. But most people agree that you don't have to be as careful on this. So we're not worried that you're going to be rushing off to work and you'll skip one of the lines or one of the paragraphs. But rather, but you should say it out of a siddur so that you shouldn't have a mistake and you won't skip anything. Let me just add a separate note here. You might see, so since it's not our practice here in the diaspora to recite Pitum Haketores as part of our canonization of davening, but you will often find people who will whip out of their talis bag. It looks like almost like a piece of parchment or a piece of cloth or some fancy printed thing that has Pitum Haketores on it, and will say it after davening. It is exactly for this reason, because we want to make sure that we save from all sort of perennials. So it's not a bad idea. Again, you don't have to have a fancy parchment. It's just something that they sell in Judaica stores to catch your attention. It's you stick in your talis bag. It's very nice. Maybe it's a nice gift for someone. But certainly to say it out of the siddur is entirely appropriate. Let's continue. And then we finish, of course, with Aleinu. So that we can establish in our hearts before we separate and part from the davening, and we'll establish our faith in Hashem and our hope for redemption. And also to safeguard ourselves, because we're going to go out into the world and deal with non-Jews and people that will try and sway us, that we'll be steadfast in our dedication to Hashem, and we won't sway after other gods or other desires. Because it's so important, Aleinu, so the custom is to say Aleinu while standing. And of course, the custom is to bow down while we are saying Va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim. And that's how we generally end Tefillah. We end Shachris, we end Mincha and Marav as well with the Tefillah of Aleinu. And with that, we end our week of learning. Thank you so much for joining us. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Ganei Yisrael, for Shlem Chol P'tzvei Yisrael. Safety of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. Nishmat and Daniel Shimon ben Harav Daron v'Shal Yishem Kamdemo. Thank you so much. Have a peaceful and restful Shabbos. We'll see you here next week.